Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I would like to discuss the warnings from the Port of Dover's chief executive about increased disruption to trade and travel as a result of extra demand, as movement restrictions are lifted this summer, and the Brexit bureaucracy that has already caused a lot of chaos in the first half of 2021. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So, it's not the first time I've talked about this, but it's worth going over again because, firstly, the disruption is no longer something that's coming in a few months. There'll be times when I talk about, well, this is going to be coming up, but it's a bit of a way away. And then we need to talk about it, when it's rather more imminent and will be affecting a lot of people very soon. Secondly, because the chief executive of the Port of Dover, Doug Bannister, is trying to inject a sense of urgency into people, not least, I suspect, government ministers. Essentially, the issue is this. Although the Brexiteers said that leaving the EU would remove all that bothersome red tape, which I don't think very many of us ever saw in our entire lives, the truth was that actually it does the precise opposite. The EU exists to give its members benefits. That's how any club exists. The benefit for EU members is dropping bureaucracy, especially for trade, but also for travel in general. So leaving the EU meant that people who had never had to fill in any paperwork related to the EU in their lives suddenly have to do quite a bit now. The immediate consequence of this was delays to freight passing from Britain to the EU or Northern Ireland, and it would also work in reverse, but Boris Johnson has ordered that checks not to take place on imports. So anything could be coming into the country right now. I don't even know why those poor migrants that Priti Patel is so bothered about continue to come across by boat. They're just getting a lorry. No one's going to check it. But anyway, the point is that it takes longer to get lorries across the port now. But we don't have the capacity to manage those outbound checks. Now, we've gotten away with it so far because the pandemic has meant much less general travel. Not so many cars trying to get across. That means that the Port of Dover has been able to use the extra capacity gained from less travel for lorries. So of the 5 lanes, it used to be the case that one of them was needed for freight. But now they're using 4 in order to manage things. So far from the pandemic actually causing a lot of problems to our economy that we've seen this year, it's actually helped in a weird sort of way suppress certain things. The damage has largely been caused by Brexit, evidenced in the fact that our trade has plummeted since Brexit. EU trade is also down a bit, but nowhere near as much as ours, not even close, in fact. In fact, there was an article in The Independent on this issue, and it pointed something else out. So our trade with the EU dropped by 1/5. Non-EU countries saw their trade with the EU drop by only 0.8% at the same time. COVID my arse. Brexit screwed our trade. And although the government are doing their best to let the pandemic emergency drag on, it will still not last as long as Brexit, no matter how hard they try. So although there is a COVID element, of course there is, the primary cause right now is Brexit. Never mind that for now. Travel restrictions are being lifted. The thing that was allowing Dover to just about manage is about to disappear. They are already up to capacity basically, and demand is suddenly going to increase. People are going to want to travel out of our little plague island, and a fair few are going through Dover. Now, there is still the issue of just how many people will want to travel out of the country. There will be some countries not allowing people to travel from Britain because of the way the Johnson variant is running amok. There will be others where people would have to quarantine on their return. Although, as the government have said, that anyone double vaccinated will not have to quarantine on their return as long as the vaccines were received here on the NHS. It's a bit odd, but whatever. The point is, with not far off half the population double vaccinated now, I think. It's not far off. That's a lot of people who may be confident of travelling out of Britain, safe in the knowledge they won't be hit with a quarantine on their return. Assuming they don't come back any sooner than July the 26th, but most people go on holiday for at least a week, so if they go from the 19th, that's fine. Now, going back to Doug Bannister, and he said that if there were a fast return to travel, there would be issues. So let's see. Do we think there will be a particular day when something suddenly changes that means there might be an equally sudden demand for travel off our plague island? Yeah, July the 19th, when the remaining restrictions are dropped and people will have booked holidays, this will mean sudden pressure on the port from both travellers and freight, where the capacity to manage it in a timely manner simply doesn't exist. bear something else in mind. So remember in January, the government tried to focus people's attentions on the issue traders had with the paperwork? It's just teething problems, they said. They're just not used to it. Once they get the hang of the new system, it'll be fine. Well, it wasn't fine. But there were indeed genuine issues with people grappling with the new paperwork. And obviously people have got better and some of those issues have gone. You know, the paperwork that Brexit was supposed to get rid of, but actually just dumped a load onto us. Well, the same applies to travel as well. There will be people who've been used to travelling to Europe year after year. They think they know what that involves, which is basically not a lot. I mean, it essentially involves travelling from Britain to wherever they're going. You know, they might have even been going twice a year, really experienced. They've not gone anywhere this year, of course, but are looking forward to resuming some sense of normality late July or August, perhaps. They've been fed a steady diet that Brexit is fine. People like me are just moaning, you know, being a remoaner and all that. Sort of in the job title, I guess. So off they'll trot with their nice new blue passports that look black for some reason, made by companies in the EU when they used to be made by a British company, but I think that's what Brexit's supposed to be about. They've got all their pandemic paperwork sorted out because they know they need that. They have their official letter telling anyone in customs that needs to know they've had their vaccinations. Then they get to experience the, well, for many people, potentially unexpected delays caused by new Brexit procedures. Now, it won't hit as hard as it would have done without the pandemic, but it's still going to hit because at the end of the day, those people are now only allowed to remain for 90 days out of 180. So they need stamping. It needs to be recorded that they're passing in and when they're passing back out again. And that's just the impact on travellers. It's not like they're going to carry on letting lorries through at the present rate and force cars to wait in a miles-long queue around Kent. There are no holidaymakers parks set up around the county to accommodate travellers who are silly enough to think they can exit the country as easily as they used to be able to. So more delays for lorries. That means more chance that deliveries can't be made on time. That means more lost businesses. As British suppliers become even more unreliable for European customers, it means more piss on the county of Kent and the odd lorry driver fight. Basically, it means that we export even less. And exporting is how we make money. A British business losing an EU customer but gaining one in Britain doesn't help the economy. And I gather that the problems with outbound delays is that they hit inbound traffic as well. So just because we're not applying checks to freight coming into the country doesn't mean to say we won't see further delays there. You know, and linking everything together here, we have the following issues impacting on our distribution of food, which is already considered a critical issue. Doesn't need anything else adding to it. We have a shortage of lorry drivers. So anything that delays those lorry drivers further is going to have the effect of actively reducing the number of available drivers. Keeping them stuck in outbound traffic for longer and they're not available to bring anything back on the return journey. And it's already a massive mess with no sign that the government understand that they have a role in removing problems, and it's all set to get much worse. I hear the latest now is that the government are telling supermarkets to remove empty shelves to hide the fact that there's shortages. That's their solution. We've got shortages. What we're going to do about it? Are you going to come up with something that allows us to get more food distributed? No, we'll just pretend that we've got enough food. All right. Okay. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.